Well, I completed the framing of the inside of the top case here today, and we'll zoom in there, and you can see that there's runners there for the center drawers, and of course there's runners for the two side drawers, and I added a kicker to the back there. So that's all there is to it. Well, I'm about ready to glue up the upper case. I don't have much that I can think of to do. The back could be fitted, but I can do that after it's been glued up. So I'm doing a little planning today. So I had to figure out how big the capitals and base are for the quarter columns that go in here. So I kind of figured it out that the capitals and base were a little over an inch large, and then the quarter column of course fits between those two, the capital and the base, and I've only got 36 inches between centers on my lathe, and this is 34 inches, so I'm very lucky. So I got lucked out on that one, or else I'd have had to see someone about getting a larger lathe. I've glued up the top case here, as you can see, with hide glue, and it's a hot and humid day here. Must be 90 with 90% humidity, so it's going to take a while for that glue to set. It's all clamped up, and I've still got to put in the glue in the runners in that, but those go in from the back. So after the case dries and I can stand it up, then I'll put in the drawer runners. Well, I've glued up the runners this morning. So we've got the top runner with the 3 drawers. This construction here is so that I've got a kicker for each of the 3 drawers, and then we've got the 3 drawers here with their dividers. The rest is simple runners, and so what I did in all of them was to glue up about 4 inches in the front here, and of course they're tongue and groove so that they stay together, and then I put a nail, a single nail back here, okay, that goes through and almost all the way through the front. I had to be very careful when I nailed them to nail them at an angle so they didn't go through the front. So I think that's enough. We've got the groove, and between the glue in the front and the nail in the back, it should keep them firm and in place over the years. I could put a second nail all the way in the back here, but I don't think it's necessary. So I'm working on the back now. So I milled up a bunch of 1/2-inch pine, and it's a shiplap joint that goes between, because I need 41 inches to cover the back. So a shiplap would have a dado on this side and a dado on this side, so that every other piece would fit over the previous piece. The edges then will have to be beveled so that they fit into the 1/4-inch groove that I made. So we're going to mill up one piece here and slip it into the slot, and then do the others. So this is a piece of the 1/2-inch back, and as you can see, I put the bevel on this 3 sides, because this will be the piece that'll be first, and slip up into the groove that's in the top of the case. So I've got to put a 1/2-inch lap on the bottom here, so I'll use a dado to cut a 1/2-inch back, a 1/4 of an inch deep on this particular edge, and then every other piece will fit into it. I've got a couple more over here that are beveled, so it'll take these are about 8 inches wide, and I got 41 inches to cover, so it'll take at least 5 pieces to, you know, and then I lose a half an inch because of the lap. So it'll take a number of pieces. So I'm going to start to put the lap on them and then slip them in. I've already slipped this one in to make sure that my measurements are correct. So I put the back on here now with the lap siding, and it came out pretty good. I would have liked it to been one less piece, but I would have to cut all of them down, and then I think they get too narrow. So they're all about 7.5 inches, except I got 1.4 and 1.6 to make it up, and it is the back, so it's not too important, but they're lap sided, and so that the expansion, there's really not, I haven't left a lot of room for the thing to get wider. There is some, but as hot as it is, it's 90 degrees and humid. So the day I nail it up, there'll just be nails in the bottom here, as long as it's similar temperature. It will shrink over the years, but I doubt it'll ever get wider. Well, we're all glued up here, and the back is in, and it's now too heavy for me to pick up. And I didn't think it would be quite that heavy, but Doug Mulder was over here this afternoon, and we did pick it up and put it back on the low boy, or the base, and it does still fit. So we've got the drawer runners in here now, and the guides on the side, and we're ready to go with either the top molding or the quarter columns. So I started to work on the quarter columns today, so that'll be the next step.